a bunch of experimentation in it, so we had a pretty good idea of what worked and what didn't work. But it's a totally new medium. Like what worked before and all the kind of cinematic language, gameplay language, and audio stuff that we used to use before, we had to kind of rewrite that all because a whole bunch of it just doesn't work. But what you get is this massively immersive experience. So the power of VR is so compelling that, you know, we wanted to put that work in, and we were all hugely passionate. This is a real passion project for the studio.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm going to we're going to stop chatting about what the mission is. We're actually going to show it to you guys.
I think this is the first time we've shown some mission.
Yeah, which is nuts.
Yeah,
like, we actually get to show this to you guys live on Twitch for the first time. The Star Wars, let me make sure I say this right, the Star Wars Battlefront Rogue One X-Wing VR mission here on Twitch, which is really cool. So we're going to throw this on, and I'm going to look goofy for you guys.
Do you remember how to use this? You had to go on it yesterday.
Yeah. So I've got the ship, which kind of helps with the focus.
Yeah.
And this helps with the headband in the back, correct?
I can help.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Hand,
yeah. All right. Okay. Throw it on.
Ready?
Fantastic. Okay.
So, that on there.
Okay. Cool.
Look about right.
Yeah. No, it's
great.
great.
Turn the little thing on the back to kind of lock it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Look sharp.
Yeah. All right. So the one thing with VR is that I can't see
It's all right.
so,
I'll
you can help me out. Okay, cool.
You probably don't want to actually. Yeah, there you go.
So there we go. Okay, cool. So we're not going to do it with the headphones on.
They can hear the audio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
they can hear the audio. So let's get started. Everything good behind me? Are we good there? Thumbs up. We good to go? Let's do it. All right. There we go.
All right.
Okay.
So when you sit comfortably, just hold options, and that will start the mission.
Okay. Oops, wrong one. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Oh, good job. Ruined. All right, have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Got it. Fixed it. All right. All right. And there it is. And there that is. There is the AT-AT walking over. I've seen this multiple times. I got to see this at Gamescom when you guys were doing some BCD stuff, some behind closed doors.
Yep.
And the first time I saw that, I was blown away. And again, I am blown away by just the absolute scale of what I'm seeing. Like, I mean, this is what it would look like if I was standing and looking at an AT-AT walking overhead.
Yeah, it never fails to blow me away. Even like after developing it and playing it a million times, still just seeing up there and seeing the scale and size of that thing, especially with the audio, it's just amazing.
So now we're going to go into this next scene, which kind of gets us familiar with how the VR works.
Yeah.
Kind of just really just eases you into it. Instead of just kind of throwing you into the experience, it's going to kind of hold my hand and let me just kind of get familiarized with. I don't know how much you guys can really see on the screen, but right now I've got this little droid in front of me, and I can look around, and and this is what it feels like. I'm right there. It's crazy.
Actually, if you go back out there, you can actually go all the way around the X-Wing. We really wanted to kind of get you familiar with the X-Wing. I mean, this is your X-Wing, right?
Yeah, so
in the same way, we wanted to, really kind of play up that fantasy of being an X-Wing pilot, and the first part of that is you've got your own X-Wing. So, take a look at that, see where it's dinged up, see what kind of condition everything's in.
And we're looking at the X-Wing, but even just looking on this platform that I'm standing on, like, there's just so much detail. You guys have just really worked a lot of detail into the game, which is wild. And even just, I'm still getting used to using VR and being able to move my head forward and back, and how this all interacts with each other is just a crazy experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the power of Frostbite right there, all that detail.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of people from a bunch of different studios all collaborate to make the best rendering pipeline we could for virtual reality, and I really think we've got a powerhouse in Frostbite now for virtual reality.
So I don't know if I can do this, but the first time I tried this at Gamescom, I did this. I was able to look over. That's so cool, is being able to actually look over, and it's not just... In some games, you have a very flat surface. You just have this 2D thing, but there's so much depth in this experience, which is just so crazy.
That sense of depth is something that it's just amazing in VR because it's a proper ocular vision. You've got different render for each eye.
Yeah.
You have that sense of depth you have from ocular vision.
Right.
So it makes it feel like the fantasy world is realized right in front of you. It really feels like, I mean, I'm sure you can see it right now. It feels like you can actually touch it, right?
Yeah, a couple of times I've wanted to, because like my brain is like, it's there, and I kind of get this out of body experience because I look down, I'm like, where did my feet go? Because they're not there, and it's so odd. It's a very, very odd and exciting experience. So am I? And now I'm standing on top of this platform. I'm looking into the cockpit of the X-wing. I'm looking to the nose. I'm looking to the rear of the X-wing. Just the overall depth and detail is just absolutely amazing. I mean, even looking at the leather of the seat, it's worn.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like, it looks like someone has been sitting in that seat for a long time. There's even just detail on where like your legs would go.
Yeah, jump in.
Which is crazy. So let's jump on into our X-wing. And now we're in, the cockpit is sealed. And now I have a bunch of buttons that are in front of me, which is cool. So now it's telling me to press this button and look there. Okay. Cool. Now I can push these other buttons. That actually activated that, which is cool. Now, that's so cool. There's just like, I can interact with all of this, which is wild. But let's jump into the mission. Let's make sure that my flight, yes, okay, great. Let's do this.
Look at that.
What? All right, now what am I with?
So you can't hear at the moment.
Oh,
but,
okay, so there's stuff going on.
There's a little bit of narrative
Okay, I
there.
thought someone turned out the lights.
But we can talk a little bit about those buttons. So,
yes, please.
There's a whole bunch of interactivity within the cockpit.
Now we're in the cockpit. We're gonna get some VO that's happening. But while that's happening, can I show what you can do with this one? Can I do it?
Check out the yellow button. Yeah, check that one out.
All right, guys, check that out. Use the Force, Luke.
Use your targeting computer. That's what it's there for.
Something's wrong. He turned off his targeting computer. So like, and this is wild. And I'm looking up, and for you guys at home, you're looking at me being goofy. But what I'm seeing is this Curlian Corvette that has just flown over and is hanging there in this pattern, and we're flying under it. And this is so cool. And just getting to look around. And it's not the same experience you get when you're flying in Battlefront. You know, like you can fly in first person, but it's a whole nother level, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, so much fun.
We took the controls of Battlefront, and we really want to make it feel familiar, so you can just jump in. If you played a lot of Battlefront, you'll be able to pilot your X-wing really skillfully. But because it's in VR and you've got a full 360 environment and you've got that sense of movement, it's just, unbelievably more immersive.
Look who's behind me.
Yeah, Lutu.
Yeah, he's hanging out. So that's Blue 2, right?
Lutu.
Lutu.
Yeah,
now, that was weird. I was like, he's red, not blue. Yeah. And so now we've got some medical ships hanging out. We've got some. Let's see, we got some other X-wings to our left. We got some Y-wings over there. And so right now, I know this is really playing into the movie that's coming out. Rogue One's coming out on December 16th. Yeah. So without giving too much away, can we really set the scene for what's happening and why we're going out?
And the VO will kind of explain the story, what's in the game. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the actual movie time, we can't talk too much about it until the movie comes out.
All right.
We can say we got to work with Alan Tudyk, actually, the original voice of K2SO. Mm-hmm. And we had a really, really close relationship with Lucas on making this an authentic Star Wars experience. In fact, it's actually become canon. So the story that kind of folds out in this is
really
part of the Star Wars canon now. Yeah.
Now that's got to be really cool that you guys have created Star Wars history.
So cool.
Something that will forever live within the Star Wars universe, which is that's neat. That is really cool.
If you were to tell 6-year-old me I was going to do that when I was older, he would have not believed it anyway.
In touching on that, were you a big Star Wars fan when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
My that's to be a long story for this, but my uncle was hugely into Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he basically made me watch all the original versions before they got any redones or anything like that.
That's how I started out. Now I got to see the remastered, and then later on I got to see the originals. Yeah. But I mean that's how it was for me. My uncle was a big Star Wars fan and introduced me to the Star Wars universe, and it's awesome. is so cool to be sitting in a cockpit. I mean, this gives you the ability, like I said before, to really live out that fantasy. It's so cool.
How cool is that?
It is so wild. I mean, like unfortunately, we haven't gotten the technology yet where you actually get like that real feedback. But I mean, like, it is nuts. All right, so we got to defend this U-wing that's here. We got a bunch of enemies here. We got a bunch of TIE fighters that are flying around. Now, again, this is one of just the really cool things is that you're using the same mechanics in Star Wars Battlefront in this as well. So if you're familiar with flying in Battlefront, you're going to do just fine in this VR mission as well. All right, so I have to activate my shields. Now, what's so cool is being able to track your targets as you're moving around, but I'm not getting that sense of motion sickness. It's not really making me looking up as I'm pulling through this turn, trying to find my target. You don't get really that motion sick that people really talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
when they use VR, and I think that's something that you guys have worked really, really hard on at Criterion to make sure that the user can put this on and not get motion sick.
Yeah, I mean, we designed it very much with comfort in mind. So not only does it kind of bring you into the action slowly so that you get used to VR, because, you know, it's going to be a lot of people's first VR experience.
Sure.
But also the amount of kind of stuff and technical little bits we did, so it feels really, really comfortable in there. It's just, I mean, it would astound you. We'll do a bunch of talks about it for technical people at some point.
No, but I think that it really is neat that, I mean, for people that, you know, might not be able to stomach some of the other VR experiences that are out there, you guys have worked really, really hard to make sure that anyone can really put this on and enjoy this experience. And it's so cool being able to just turn my head and see that I have, you know, a couple guys on my tail. I have never gotten to experience anything like this before. And it is just so cool.
Yeah, tracking your targets like that is that's what dogfighting is all about.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And, only really VR can give you that full 360 kind of view to do that properly.
Yeah, I'm sure I look really goofy, but guys, it looks so cool. Now, do you? I mean, I'm probably asking too much, but are we going to see anything else coming out of Star Wars VR? Are we going to see more missions, maybe, or anything?
We're not announcing anything at the moment.
Okay.
But obviously, we'd love to do extra stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a huge passion project for the studio, and everyone really, really enjoyed development on it.
Awesome. I mean, I would love to be in the TIE Fighter next if we could make that happen, because I mean, like, that was really cool. I mean, when I was a kid, getting to play, you know, X-Wing versus TIE Fighters, those games that were out, you know, early mid '90s, those are really cool. And again, it's those fantasies that people have.
Yeah,
so
TIE Fighter
cool.
would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like the TIE Fighter cockpit's very unique. Oh my, okay, all right. Yeah, that is a gigantic Star Destroyer. Now, the Star Destroyers, I mean, they look big in Battlefront. That was gigantic. That thing is huge. So that was the demo. So you guys don't get to see the entire thing. We want to make sure that you guys get to experience that for yourself. But that was awesome.
Welcome back to reality.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Now it's
I'm
weird.
so sorry.
It's weird though, because now I kind of have to reset my eyes, if you will. But that's